So bad health is not a good thing, at least not by itself. It has changed my perspective on just about everything, and I want to show you how I got there. I'm 17, and right about now marks 2 years of battling with my health. In December of 2021, right after Christmas, I got COVID. And this doesn't mean much by itself, but soon after fighting what felt like a bad cold, my health gave out. I was experiencing brain fog, nausea, migraines, fatigue, chest pain, and weight loss, all because of what they call long COVID, which has led to the diagnosis of a throat disease. My gallbladder was removed. I'm on a CPAP machine, constant medications, and too many hospital stays. All of that, that's the negative. That's the part that's hard to listen to. And I've watched my life and body be taken away from me, and it's difficult reminding myself I have a new life and a new body at a fraction of what it used to be. And as I work on realizing that, I think about one word, and that's wisdom. To me, wisdom isn't only about knowledge, but being at peace with that knowledge. And this has helped me understand what my life really looks like and is what shifted my perspective. Everyone has their load to bear, but what's hard for me, and probably for you, is to remember the bigger picture and to change your perspective. So perspective is a powerful thing, but what is it? After a quick Google search, you can find out that perspective is just a fancy way of saying your point of view, your way of looking at something. And one of my least favorite sayings is don't judge a book by its cover because everybody does. That's what perspective is. From your perspective, you can only see that so-called cover unless you're willing to read more, if you're willing to read the pages. Your perspective could be cynical, optimistic, depressing, fearful, or something else entirely. But it doesn't matter because you're never going to be able to understand someone or something without first stepping back and understanding yourself. For me, that's a really hard task, but when my health took a turn, I wasn't left with another option. If you want to quote, Bob Marley said that you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. And to me, I'm not strong physically, but my strength is my perspective, and I want to show you how I got there. I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a philosopher, but from my own experience in watching a TED Talk to find the right words, our perspective controls our reactions, so why aren't we controlling our perspective? When I first got sick, I decided I wasn't going to cut my hair until I was better. And I changed that decision, but it took a while. For me, it was a positive reminder of my endurance, but it was also a much more negative reminder of the condition I was in. I would wake up, look in the mirror, and the first thing I saw was that I was still sick. And because of this, I was not only dealing with my physical symptoms, but also the psychological effect of my perspective. The reason I tell you this is because it's an easy example of how to control your perspective. My perspective was that I still had to carry myself around as if I was sick because my hair was a reminder that I am sick. But by controlling that perspective, it changed my reaction. I cut my hair and I didn't feel better physically, but I felt much better mentally. It might take you a minute, but I want you to think of your own example. And it doesn't have to be a positive example like mine. It could be a negative or a neutral example. I just want you to be able to identify your old perspective, how that affected you, how you controlled that perspective, and how that changed the effect it had on you. Okay, so you did that. Now what else could be having an effect on you right now that you want to change? My goal with this video is not to tell you to focus on yourself or to make life all sunshine and rainbows, but instead I want you to understand how changes to your life can change your perspective and how to control those changes to give you the perspective that you want. This part is pretty straightforward and I can't do the work for you, but I can give you an extra step. After you figure out the part of your perspective that isn't how you want, ask yourself, is this my perspective or is it someone else's? And if it's yours, great, continue on changing your perspective. But if it's someone else's, then you need to understand that your perspective is allowed to be different, and you need to own the fact that it's your perspective and not theirs. With my health, I'm no stranger to this, and people try to tell me how to experience and interpret my health all of the time. Usually their intentions are in good faith, but however it comes across, I try to separate my perspective from theirs, and it really does help in the end. Now, after understanding how your perspective controls you, how you can control your perspective, and how you want to control it, make the change. It's that simple. And once you make that change, we can talk about your new perspective. This new perspective might be exactly what you're looking for, and it could be the exact opposite, but that's the beauty of this. Now you know that you did change your perspective and you can do it again. It might take a bit to get used to the changes you're making, but after time, it gets a whole lot easier. And I'm not perfect at this, not at all. I spend so much time worrying about if I should wait something out until my health is better, or I feel like I'm walking on eggshells waiting for my next crash. It's even taken me months to make this video because I was worried that by making it, it would make me worse. And that's the hardest part about changing our perspective. It's remembering that we have so much more control than we think we do, and luckily, there's ways to practice. I think it boils down into 3 categories: meditation, exercise, and visual practice. For meditation, I personally love yoga because it removes the stress of trying to calm down your mind and body by helping you get through it in the process. Yoga is also great for exercise, but really any exercise does the trick. Lastly, visual practice sounds a bit odd, but that could be in the form of art, where you learn to make and look at artwork from different angles. It could be watching new shows and movies that aren't your usual taste, or it could even be going to a place you visit frequently to work on your observation skills. The list goes on, and you can do your own research to find what types of practice work best for you, but your end goal should always be to understand multiple different perspectives to help you better view your own, take control of that perspective, and change the outcome. There's only so much time in a day, so I appreciate the time you spent with me, and I'll see you soon. Saying perspective so much is a pain in my ass. Oh, I'm so tired of recording. This is the 3rd time I'm recording this. That hurt.